Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. So this is your homework assignment. I want everybody to look at their feet. Just look at your feet. No, don't smell your feet. Just look at, no, if you're in a skirt, no, at home. Do this at home. Okay, just put the leg down. If you're driving, keep the foot down. I'm saying at home. I want you to look at your feet. Okay? My guess is a lot of you have dry, cracked feet. And my second guess is many of you are blowing it off. I do. I am an avid barefoot person. I will walk to the neighbors barefoot. I'll walk around the house barefoot. I love being barefoot. I'm not a big shoe person. I don't like to wear shoes. I don't like flip-flops. I don't like heels. I just don't like I like my feet being bare. When I go to bed at night, no socks. I don't care how cold it is. I want my feet. But I don't like my feet tickled. Do not tickle my feet. I do not like, no, don't touch my feet. It's fascinating. You can touch your own foot. It doesn't tickle. I can't tickle myself. But if somebody else is like, ah! So, all right. Fascinating feet. But I think we have a lot of problems when we ignore our feet. If your foot or feet are dry and cracked, that is a major barrier issue and a break in your barrier. Your skin is the biggest organ of your body. And what it does is it protects the inside of your body. And so you do not want openings. You do not want cracks. You do not want bacteria or viruses to get in there and then grow. And you don't want to get plantar warts, and you don't want to get like splinters, and you don't want to get little mites in there, and you don't want to get bacteria, and then you don't want to develop like a diabetic foot ulcer. You need to take care of your feet, and the majority of us don't. Now, some of us go for pedicures, going, well, I get a pedicure every month, and so they pummel stone it, if that's what it is, or they scrub it, and then maybe they put some moisturizer, so I'm good. No. Your foot care is daily. Are you taking care of your feet daily? Now, I don't take care of my feet. I haven't been able to see my feet since puberty. I have to literally, to get around the boobies, I have to put my foot up on a counter so that I can access it. And again, I don't wear a skirt when I'm doing this. Or when I'm sitting, and you need to check your feet daily, and you need to be on top of that. Remember how we talk about your teeth and how you need to brush your teeth and take care of your gums and your teeth very judiciously, because if you do have inflammation in the gums, that could put you at risk for heart disease, dementia, stroke, other things. Same thing with your feet. If you have chronically inflamed feet, and I think even the feet could be worse, because what if you do get a cut or a painful plantar's wart, or you have an ulcer or something brewing? Now you start to limp. Well, when you start to limp, now that affects your ankle joint. It affects your knee. It affects your hip on the ipsilateral and then the contralateral side. And you need to be able to walk like you normally do. You need to be able to exercise. And once you have a wound on the bottom of your foot, you're like, ow, ow, ow. And then you start to walk gingerly. And now that affects your range of motion. It affects your joints. It affects your exercise. It affects your metabolism. You need to get on top of your feet. So why do our feet get dry? Well, in my case, it's because I walk around barefoot. You need to protect your skin. There's a lot of rough surfaces. When I walk on the asphalt or the gravel, I took down some of the Christmas lights outside our house, and I was barefoot on the gravel. That was stupid. Don't be doing that. Wear some shoes. Some of our feet sweat, but a lot of us don't have the oil glands that other parts of our body do, so it's dry in nature. Our shoes could also be affecting it. When you're wearing shoes that are really kind of bringing the toes together or it's chafing the side, that could also affect it. The weather could affect it. Your lack of hydration. Remember, your body worries more about the central part. So your heels, not as important as other baseboard heaters, other sorts of heaters on the ground can affect vitamin deficiencies, vitamin C, E. So to take care of your feet, it's a process. Now, there are certain glycolic acid sort of treatments that some doctors will do. I love podiatrists. I would not do any of this on your own. I would get a podiatrist involved immediately, because if you start to lather and put stuff on your feet and you try to debride things on your own, you can make things worse. Just like I've seen so many ingrown toenails done completely wrong, where your ingrown toenail is actually deep down here and you keep trying to fix the distal part and it's more proximal, closer to the joint, and you just make it more infected. So what some doctors might do is glycolic acid, lactic acid, alpha hydroxy acid to help slough off some of the dead skin, retain moisture. There might be some exfoliation treatments that they could do with loofahs or pumice stones, peels. But what you could do on your own is moisturize. I like urea cream. Urea that comes from urine. You could actually buy somebody else's urine in urea cream. No, but urea cream like Caramel 40, those seem to do well. They help retain moisture. Petroleum jelly. You need to allow that skin to heal. If you have diabetes, it heals slow, but your skin will heal. You just need to give it a chance to heal. And the reason why cracked feet don't heal that well is because you need to use your feet. You're on your feet. But if you could moisturize, if you could use certain products, medicated products or products that your doctor recommends to help moisturize and heal those cracks, it's going to be worth it. If you have better fitting shoes, I really go to the boots a lot, even when I don't need to, like during the summer, because it takes that pressure off. I've been really improving. My feet aren't as dry as they used to be. They used to be really, really dry because I just walk around barefoot. And now I have nice wide shoes that don't, make them as chafed or dry. But keep your feet moisturized. Make sure you're on top of them. Take a look at them when you get home. And if you're having problems, reach out to your medical provider to get these taken care of. 1-877 Dr. Daliah.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer. And big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on X or Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So I'm the type of girl that I wasn't a tomboy, but I really didn't like Barbies. I did not like tea parties. I liked Transformers. I liked big wheels. I wasn't really big on trucks and airplanes, so I didn't necessarily play with the boy toys, but I liked making mud pies. I liked using a magnifying glass and lighting leaves on fires, with this. I liked fixing people's boo-boos. And so I was a very active girl. I didn't like dresses when somebody would say they could see my underwear. But if I did have to dress up pretty, I liked being pretty. I wanted to be a princess. So I was never really a tomboy. But if I want to wear pants, I want to wear pants. If I want to play with, a toy that's fun, and the Barbie never made sense. You have a beautiful, blonde, skinny person that you're supposed to pretend. I just never did the whole stuffed animal doll thing. And, I came from a family who would never really talk about politics. But in retrospect, when I remember growing up and hearing them how they really liked Reagan, my guess is they were conservative. And they were complaining a lot about Jimmy Carter. So, although they did speak very highly of JFK. So even though that was way before my time. But when I was little, and I've told you guys this story, I was 3 years old and there was some TV show. I don't know if it was Marcus Welby or some doctor show, and I was really little. and I'm playing with my toys, and I'm looking at the TV screen, and there's this old man doctor and a gorgeous blonde nurse. And I'm looking at the TV, and my mom's watching the show, and I go, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be when I grow up. And my mom goes, you want to be a doctor? And I go, no, I want to be a nurse. She's like, why do you want to be a nurse? I go, because girls are nurses and boys are doctors. So I'm a girl, so I want to be a nurse. So my mom, who wasn't a bra burner, but I mean, she was, she and her mom were kind of ahead of the time saying, we could do whatever we want to, because she was always in the workforce and she had to support my sister when they were abandoned by her father. So my mom was a tough cookie. So she looks at me and she says, girls could be doctors too. It's not just a boy thing. And I look at the TV, and now in retrospect, I know she was probably looking with pride on me, seeing if I'm going to follow, in the footsteps of all the women in our past that helped with the suffrage movement, and what I'm going to say next will basically set me on a path that she would be so proud of and support. And I look at the TV and I look back at her and I go, no, I want to be blonde. So it was not, it didn't have anything to do with, I did want to be a doctor eventually. I have always wanted to do medicine, but I wanted to be blonde. And I thank God for, Clairol and all the other, and my hairdresser, I've got to be blonde. But I remember the disappointment of look on my mom's face, and she just was like, just go play with your toys. I don't think my mom's and my relationship ever, resumed after that to the degree that it should have. Now, mom just looking at me stupid. I loved being a girl, and I loved aspects of being a girl, but I really didn't like this idea of, well, you're a girl, so you like I had to take home ec when I wanted to take shop. I wanted to take shop. I wanted to do what my dad could do. I wanted to build stuff. I didn't want to learn how to make scrambled eggs. Plus, the girls were mean. I didn't want to hang around girls. I wanted to be with the guys. Most of my friends were guys. They were fun. Not to mention the shop teacher was hot. He was gorgeous. But so I'm in agreement that we, start getting rid of this idea that, well, girls wear pink, boys wear blue. And one thing I have been kind of proud of is we've kind of started to shed those stereotypes. I'm a female and I'm a doctor. I'm also in a male-dominated radio world. And I'm very grateful, especially to my male colleagues and all the support they've given me. I am so grateful I live in the 2020s right now where I am able to do this. But things now are starting to take a turn that isn't making sense. And so President Joe Biden has announced that the Equal Rights Amendment has been ratified, which explicitly prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex. He says, in keeping with my oath and my duty to Constitution and country, which nobody wants discrimination based on sex, he goes, I affirm what I believe and what 3/4 of the states have ratified. The 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. So what this now does is allow there to be political language as it pertains to gender identity. Now, where I'm confused is if you have a boy that says, I want to be a girl, and if you ask them why, and they say, well, because I like pink or I like dresses, that's moot. That's obsolete. Girls and dresses and pink, that's an old stereotype. Why else do you want to be a girl? Well, because I want to be in the girls' bathroom. Why? What is going on in the boys' bathroom? Are you being bullied? Bathrooms are pretty vicious. And I'm wondering if a lot of these kids, if you actually ask them what it is about the other gender they want, we come to find out it's because of the societal pressures. It's not that they really want to get rid of their body parts. I have not met one boy who said that they want to have periods. And that's why they want to be a girl. And because they want to have childbirth. They don't. They want to be female because of societal's representation of females. But I thought we're changing that. Kamala Harris wore pantsuits. And I have to admit, I liked her pantsuits way better than Hillary Clinton's pantsuits. So this isn't about a dress thing anymore. And she wore blue. She didn't wear pink. So if you're now saying, well, I'm now a girl, why are you a girl? What is your identifying reasons to be a girl? Is it because you want to menstruate and give birth and become a mother? Or is it because you want to dress like one and look like one? You don't have to now go through all that surgical, permanent, because and I understand people may want less hair. They may want to, but we've already changed the definition of societal what a girl and boy means. So why can't we keep the biological meaning? I'm kind of confused by that. So where a lot of this is also stemming from is the bathrooms. People want to use the other person's bathroom. And I get that. I hated going into the girls' room with these girls being mean. I would have loved to go to the boys' bathroom. And maybe some kids think they have to change their gender, their fertility, undergo all sorts of painful procedures to do that. Maybe what we just need is in schools to have single person bathrooms. I'm telling you right now, I could never go poo in a public restroom at school. Girls were mean. They'd make fun of you. So all I did was pee. You know how nice it would be to have your own bathroom? The average adult would like that. And I'm not saying having single-use bathrooms solves gender dysphoria. There are individuals who have true gender dysphoria, and it's serious. Imagine waking up and saying you're in the wrong body. That is a serious, serious challenge. But I don't think the average person who wants to change genders is really feeling like they're in the wrong body. I think they want society to look at them as a girl. And it's interesting. I was in a bathroom and there was a guy wearing a dress, who was didn't shave his legs or anything like that. And I'm like, I didn't want to say this, but you don't have to wear a dress to be a girl anymore. So I'm just kind of confused by the whole thing. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So something that is very, very difficult that many of us have to deal with sooner or later is the discussion of an elderly family member going into assisted living or a nursing home or an elderly care facility. And it's not easy because the family member will usually respond to, oh, hell no. Right? It'll cause fights. It'll cause guilt. And so we keep kicking the can down the road as it pertains to that subject. And you're kicking the can down the road can sometimes be worse for that family member than just ripping off the bandage. But families struggle when it comes to this. And so first, how do you identify if this needs to be done? All right. And you need to identify the red flags because you're going to have to share those red flags with the person of interest who needs to possibly now transition to a different living facility. So one is, are they being forgetful? And is that forgetfulness going to hurt them? Are they accidentally taking 2 pills when they should only be taking 1? Are they leaving the stove on? Are they leaving the doors unlocked? If their memory is not there and they can't protect themselves, that's a concern. Could they hurt others? If you're leaving your stove on, or if you're not dousing out your fire during the winter, now you could cause your place to go up in smoke, and then other family or other neighbors. If you're driving and you're not, shall we say, in tune with all the nuances with driving, you could run over one of your neighbors. You could run into their house. So you need to be aware of what their functions are and watch them and look for those. So you got to make sure they're not going to harm themselves. You got to make sure they don't harm others. You have to make sure that they are not, shall we say, trying to hide and compensate. A lot of times they will. Now, one sign of them trying to hide and compensate that is sticking with what they know. So they might repeat themselves a lot. And it might be the same conversation you're having with them because they don't have a lot of other conversations, or they don't want to venture into uncharted territory and then look like they're not as competent. So they might just stick to what they know and only say the same thing or only do the same thing. And so when you start to see that, that's a sign of them trying to still maintain, a semblance of they got things, controlled. And so it's, a lot of red flags. If they're missing buttons when they dress, if they're not cleaning certain parts of their body, if they're confusing things, losing things, these are signs that they could struggle mentally and cognitively. So how do you bring it up? Well, first and foremost, hopefully you have family members that are helping you. It's very difficult to go at this alone. And you usually don't want the in-laws, the son-in-law, the daughter-in-law, to look like they're a part of that decision. Because already there's a lot of relationships that are strained because of in-laws. So you can't, if you're like, oh, my husband deals with everything for me. No. Or my wife handles it. No. Okay, it has to be you. If there are other family members, you need to get them involved. Now, a lot of us have family members that are completely, distant. So it ends up being you. And you don't bring up the conversation and go from 0 to 90. The big mistake people make is the discussion on moving. They go, okay, we just need to sneak it up on them and then just do it. And I don't think that's right. And I understand people say, but if you start talking about it, they get nervous and then they'll run away and then there's other ways to talk about it. There's other ways to transition. You don't have to go from 0 to 90 with these things. And so first and foremost is your family member. You need to understand what your family member is thinking. They're thinking that once they leave their home environment, they're going to die. They're thinking that moving to assisted living means everybody's already washed their hands of them. and that they're going to accelerate. Their death is going to accelerate. They are also thinking that the people that work there want the empty bed and that they might not have the care they need so that the bed opens up. These are concerns that people are thinking. And the reason why is they knew that Jenny or Jane went to this one facility and was dead in 2 weeks. No wonder they're scared. They also think that the family's going to stop visiting them. That now they're going to be, their final chapter on this earth is now going to be, remembered as, them having to be in assisted living or a nursing home. These are things that are going through their head. Another big thing people are concerned about is getting sexually assaulted. And those concerns are not ill-founded. I remember having patients grabbing me saying, he's touching me. And I'd look over, I was a student, I'd look over, and the staff member's like, oh, she has dementia. No one's touching her. And I'm like, how do we know? Who's working at night? Where's the cameras? Yeah, and that's scary. And so, I've had conversations with my children, and I think everybody who might be in that position later, I think we all are going to be in that position later, talk to your children about what you're concerned about. And hopefully your children will understand that these are concerns you have. I want to know that I'm not going to be assaulted. I want to know that I'm not going to be neglected. If I'm in pain, I want to know that somebody's going to be there to give me pain medication. I don't want to be feeling tortured. Those are concerns I have. Now, most facilities are fantastic, and they ensure that this doesn't happen. But, there's been, reports, and there's been stories, and these are the things that older people talk to each other about. So you need to have conversations about that, and how you broach the conversation to say, look, then hopefully you do it before they have memory problems. Where, look, if you start to struggle and you're going to hurt yourself or hurt others accidentally, where do you want to go? Oh, I just want to die. I need another option. Okay, duly noted. Take me in the backyard and shoot me. No, I need another option than that. What would you like us to do? This is going to be something we're going to have to later address, but I want to follow your wishes to the best of our ability. Now, if you have a family member that's already there, well, time is of the essence. You can't dink around another 2 weeks or 4 weeks. If they could possibly hurt themselves, you need to do something now. Now, you as a child you're going to feel guilty. You're going to be like, well, they didn't want to go. They were yelling and screaming. They were crying that I was taking them to an institution or whatever. And they're going to be mad. Listen, you're going to feel guilty no matter what. If they hurt themselves at home or set fire or hurt their neighbors accidentally, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel guilty no matter what. Moms always feel guilty. Kids always feel guilty. Dads always feel guilty. The guilt will be there. So don't be acting to prevent the guilt. You're going to feel guilty no matter what. You need to be able to, sleep at night and know that you did the best thing for that family member. Now, research where you're taking them. Research who's going to come into the home to help them. And you're going to have to be a little firm. If your family member is not ready to go to an assisted living, but they can't live alone and you want to bring somebody in, say, this is your choice. You get one of two choices. And I know they might be passive aggressive saying, you have somebody come in here, I'm going to suck it to them. I'm going to, well, then if you do and they leave, then we have to move you into look, we're trying to work with you. Okay. But these are things you can't do on your own. And we know it's not easy. I'm going to have the same issue. And I'm having the same conversation with my kids. But sometimes you just have to, do it. But you also need to ensure that their safety is, you're not going to just dump them in this assisted living and never visit them. That you will be on top of things for them. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. We've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Daliah. Fantasy football season is coming, but sadly, too many of you are taking the bench while the country takes part in one of the most exciting and lucrative industries out there. Don't know how to play? Well, huddle up and listen. Paul Kalikas and I have written a fantasy football pocket guide for beginners. This book walks you through the basics and shows you how simple and lucrative joining or creating a fantasy football team can be. Read our fantasy football pocket guide for beginners found on Amazon or follow the links on X and Facebook. That's Fantasy Football Pocket Guides for Beginners. Don't be left out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOC-DALI. So there is nothing more exciting and exhilarating than falling in love. Falling in love is amazing. And when you've been married as long as I have, for so many years, I think back to, those first few dates and, when I was actually dating a friend of his before I started dating him, but I'm like, he's kind of cute. And, when you go back and you want to capture that again. And, we talk about romance and marriages and how to kind of keep things fresh and fun. But sadly, a lot of you are at risk for scams online. And there was one woman who lost almost $1 million because she fell for a scam where she thought she was online dating Brad Pitt. Now, some of you will say, oh my gosh, how could she have been so obtuse or naive? Well, these scams start off really, really subtle. So basically, I think she was like skiing in the French Alps or something, and Brad Pitt's supposed mother DM'd her. And she starts to become friends with this person who pretends to be Brad Pitt's mom. Then she's like, my son could really use you. Somebody like you. Let me introduce you to. And because usually a lot of these scams is they write, I get these scams all the time where they write and they go, hi, Daliah, you're hot. And I'm like, I know. No, but that's how I know it's fake because I'm not hot. If somebody online is saying you're hot, I'm like, okay, then that's already either a bot or that person is completely lying through their teeth. So that's how I know. But if they go, you could use some cosmetic surgery and, I'd like to kind of help you with some nip tuck. And then I'd be like, okay, this person's real. This person is actually looking at my actual pictures and knows for sure what my situation is. But anyway, so this woman, she ends up starting to then, I guess, be in this relationship who she thought had to do with Brad Pitt. And then the mother reaches out to her saying, this is Brad Pitt's real mom, that he's in the hospital. He has kidney cancer. He needs help, but all his accounts are frozen because of the divorce with Angelina Jolie. So she's falling for all this and starts spending money and sending money. And you need to really, really be careful. And, I get it's very addictive to have somebody that thinks you're the most amazing and beautiful and then send you poems and but there's scammers out there. And what makes this more difficult is we used to say, don't date somebody you met online. Okay. Make sure it was, somebody set up through a friend of a friend but everybody's online now. Okay. We don't have penny savers anymore where people would meet people and add in the penny saver. We don't, if you're not going to school or you're doing online school, you're not meeting people. The average date is being set up online. That's frightening. I'm Gen X. I could not imagine being on a computer trying to find someone to date. No wonder we have so many people out there that are single or celibate. You know how scary that is? I'll look at some of my friends' pictures online and I'm like, whoa. I just saw you a couple weeks ago. You lost 60 pounds that quick? I don't say that. No, but that's the way they were able to get the angle. And, come on. And so these pictures, they're not necessarily fake, but you can now have AI fix your photo. And I've put up some AI pictures and they're like, oh, wow, you look great. You look hot. I'm like, yeah, I do, but it's thanks to AI. You know how much money I spend on makeup and hair and lashes and nails? I should just have AI do it all, but I'm not dating, thank God. For those of you who are, or you're alone and you want that companionship, you're very vulnerable. And so be cautious. Valentine's is coming up, which I can't stand. I think Valentine's is the stupidest holiday. There's all this pressure. So if you're married or if you're in a relationship, there's all this pressure that you have to do something good, because if what you do is not as good as somebody else, it's ridiculous. And you should be showing your love 365 days a year. It shouldn't just be about one day. And then if you're single, you feel like something's wrong with you. And so I think Valentine's Day stinks, but there's going to be a lot of people going, I can't believe I'm single on Valentine's Day. I can't believe I'm single on Valentine's Day. This is horrible. This is embarrassing. Well, then so now there's going to be somebody going, hi. I hate being single on Valentine's Day. I'm not saying we need to date, but I see you online. I've been following you. You're really funny. Hi, I'd like to meet you for coffee. And here you are thinking that is completely benign. And it could be. So, how to tell if it's a scam? Well, one is if they're being overly demonstrative with their compliments or their flattery. They don't know you. And so if they're already saying you are so beautiful inside and out, you're like, really? I stepped on a bug the other day and said score. I really, how do you know I'm beautiful inside and out? It starts to kind of, yeah. If they, if they, shall we say, try to step up the timeline of the relationship faster than it needs to be. Because remember, these scam artists, they need money. And that's why they're doing it. And they might not put 3-4 months in to the relationship. So they're going to be why wait? That Harry met Sally. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I want the rest of my life to start today. It's a beautiful line, very romantic, but he knew Harry met Sally for about 10, 15 years prior to that, or 20 years, I forget. Okay, somebody that's just meeting you online, please. Also, if they're not friends of people you're friends with. I get these emails and these DMs all the time from people that have no mutual friends, and you're like, they're bots, whatever. But if you do see that they do have mutual friends and people and you look at their, and they obviously hang out, you can at least do your research. Do your research on these people. But a random person online, you got to be careful. And always live by the rule, I'm not giving you money. Now, I know that's hard if you're already a month or two into this and you want to look generous. Generosity and being unselfish and altruistic are very sexy qualities. And you want to show that. But you don't have to show that by giving them money. All right? If they, are attracted to you because you hosted a blood drive. Very sexy, by the way. If you guys want to really look sexy and get a date, host a blood drive. You meet people, right? You're showing that you're helping out. Very sexy. Do that. Also, what's very sexy is listening to really good talk radio. So if you really want an in, you could say, I listen to the Dr. Daliah show. Ooh, oh my gosh, wow. Man, where's the nearest hotel room? Hey, look, I'm trying. But once money gets into play, a big sign of a scam is they're overseas. Now, you could date somebody overseas. Overseas is exotic. I got to tell you, all you have to be is Italian. And I'm interested. I just love, really, you're in Italy right now? I am on a plane to meet you. But that's a red flag. Okay? If somebody says, I'm out of the country. If you're like, I'd like to meet you. Let's meet for coffee. And they always come up with reasons why they can't. That's a concern. Or they say, my credit card is full. Max, I really want to see you. Can you help pay? That's a scam. So do your homework, do your research, and don't fall for it. Okay? 1-877-DALIAH. Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.